It just hasn't been the same for Marvel these past couple of movies, and I don't think it's gonna be much better in the coming years. But it seems like the consensus is the franchise hasn't been good since Endgame. But I'm here to tell you guys that no, the situation may be at its worst now, but the seeds of the decline started all the way back in Phase 2. Let's be honest, I'm not really all that into the first couple of movies. Like, I like them and I watched all of them and they were cool, especially the first Avengers. But then some trash started coming out like Thor 2. It was very boring and low rated, and Thor has like the lamest background cast of any of the Avengers, whether on Earth or on Asgard. Like, Loki is cool, but that's about it. Everyone else is a bum. Thor 2 was about elves or something, who cares? But what came after that was Winter Soldier, which in my opinion is one of the top 2 non-Avengers MCU movies, the other one being Civil War. Like, I don't really like Captain America as a character, but his movies are really the best of them all. It's weird how that works. But after the first Avengers, each of the main ones got their own round of movies after, and it was clear there was a pattern starting to form, where you could basically boil down all the movies to a formula. Some guy is doing something, his life changes drastically, he gets introduced to concepts or powers he had no idea of, some villain wants to use the powers to change or destroy the world, the hero learns something that's shocking towards the climax, the hero defeats the villain, rinse and repeat. Like, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther all start out very unique, but then quickly devolve into the tried and true formula, so it was only a matter of time before things got stale. Of course, Infinity War came out, which is like the best MCU movie, and one of my favorite movies of all time. And then after it, 2 bum-ass movies, then Endgame, and it looks like the perfect place to end the franchise, when we haven't even gone to the X-Men or Doctor Doom yet. So of course it had to keep going. Even though, like I said, there had been some garbage water movie in the first couple of phases, I think the first one to turn people off was Black Widow. It was more the circumstances of the movie than the movie itself that was the problem. Like, I haven't watched it, but here we have a full movie dedicated to a character that's already in a spliff, then they put out Eternals, with a bunch of well-known actors, and some super long bore fest full of uncharismatic characters that inspired no confidence or interest, and around the same time, they started putting out Disney Plus shows that are fully relevant and canon, thus forcing people to watch multiple episodes for context, as if a million movies wasn't already bad enough as it was. The first being WandaVision, which was very boring at first, became interesting, and then got completely ruined at the end, but making the main villain some fake-ass victim. Loki was cool, it's very interesting, but something about the tone and characterization feels off. Aside from that dumbass What If show, where they just made shit up, that doesn't even make sense in its own alternate history context. Like, why is Thanos getting pieced up by his own kids? I haven't watched any of the other shows, and one thing is, I don't like to call something trash I haven't seen it. That's why I don't want to comment that much on Black Widow, while I can say what I want about the Eternals. But let's just keep it a stack. Even with the show I like with Loki, it would just be better if they didn't make any of the shows at all. It's disrespectful to ask us to watch all that in order to understand a movie, and the first movie to be downstream from a show is Doctor Strange 2, which followed up WandaVision. And the more time passes, the more I don't like that movie, but whatever. Then came Thor 4, which was one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had the displeasure of sitting through. It's wild too, because Thor 3 is one of the best MCU movies ever. I think how I feel about Thor 4 is probably the consensus opinion on Ant-Man 3. Personally, I kinda enjoyed watching that movie because of Kang. I will concede that it is trash. It was really Ant-Man 3 that cemented Marvel's Dark Age, because this was supposed to be the movie that introduced the main villain for the next few phases. And while I think he did a pretty good job given the circumstances, the movie itself has been a critical and commercial flop. To make things worse, there was a rise in actor strike, pushing back production on a lot of clowned out shows and movies that nobody asked for. And now The Marvels has come out to be yet another flop. Now, this all being said, Marvel has put out good movies since Endgame. Like, they had Far From Home, and No Way Home, and Black Panther 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so it's completely possible for them to put out some good movies. But Falcon being Captain America is dumb and lame, and also Falcon is just a dumb and lame character in general. A lot of people are saying they should bring back the old Avengers, but I completely disagree. The sacrifice that they made in Endgame would be fully invalidated, and Age of Ultron wasn't even that good, so it's not a guarantee that them coming back would even be for the best. I think instead, Marvel should be focused on speeding up the inclusion of the Fantastic Four, and X-Men, and Doctor Doom, and all those niggas. And aside from Doctor Doom and Wolverine, it's not even like I personally give a fuck about all those characters. Like, I think the Fantastic Four are kinda lame, but I do see the potential in expanding the Marvel universe. Another thing that's a problem are these waiting periods between movies. Like, I get there was a lockdown, and now recently a strike, but even with all those things, it shouldn't take this long to make another Avengers movie. Like, I get there are gonna be sub 20 IQs saying, but, I need them to take their time, I just don't want them to rush it. Listen to me, it doesn't have to take 8 years to write a good movie. When it comes to special effects and CGI, instead of drawing out how much work each artist has to do, why not hire more and actually pay them what they're worth? Their workload is less, and they can actually live comfortably, and the movie gets done faster. But no, let's make niggas slave away like it's the Cornfields all over again. Also, you don't even need to make movies with a singular name attached anyway, or with the Avengers title. How about you just make a movie that features any character you want? Like, you could have called it Marvel Civil War or something, or just Multiverse of Madness by itself. and actually made it a good movie or something. But at the same time, I kind of understand why they don't want to do that, because it kind of messes with the marketing, but still, I think they could work around it. The thing is, it's kind of grating to see the same movie, number 57, you know? Like, they say they have so many Thor stories to tell, and like, I believe them, but given how AIDS the last one was, I don't know if that's the move. At a certain point, the audience might find themselves in a position thinking, hey, why is that one guy from Phase 1 still making movies, while everyone else is either packed up or retired? Honestly, it's even crazy that Thor is the one that's gonna have the longest series, all things considered. Like, the Avengers in general, besides the Hulk, weren't really that popular, but even amongst them, Thor was a nobody. I remember the trailers when they came out, and I genuinely thought it was a Norse mythology movie. I didn't even know he was supposed to be in the same universe as Iron Man, and it's not even like the movies were that good or successful to warrant it. Like, Thor 1 wasn't trash or anything, but it's not as cool as either of the first two Iron Man movies, or in my opinion, any of the Captain America movies. It didn't make more money than the Iron Man movies either. Then there was Thor 2, which is one of the worst pieces of shit Marvel ever put out. Like, it's not infuriating like some of the later movies, but it's still very boring, which is even worse. That movie somehow made more than Thor 1, but still made less than any other Phase 2 movie, aside from Ant-Man. The thing is, Thor just has an L-tier cast of characters. They're not cool on his home planet, and they're not cool on Earth either. Ragnarok tries to fix it by giving him a whole new cast, which once again was lame, but they were lame too. But I will say, Ragnarok was one of the best movies of Phase 3. If they just left the series there, it would have been perfect. But no, they had to put out Thor 4, and completely ruin the character and reputation. Now, I'm not saying Thor can't bounce back, I'm just saying, like, why take the risk? As a person, he might be one of my favorites, alongside Iron Man, but I don't think it's a coincidence that he was one of the least well-known characters. Like, his villains aside from Loki are lame, his friends are lame, and his stories just aren't that compelling. Instead of making Thor 52, they should just do what they did with Iron Man and the Hulk, and make him a character that shows up in other people's movies or something. They should take no other ideas from what they did to the Hulk though. They completely ruined what was supposed to be the most popular Avenger. Again, I was never into the Hulk, so it doesn't mean much to me, but to see him become the joke that he is now, it just doesn't feel right. Captain America movies also don't have to be made anymore. Not only do we not recognize the Negro Falcon as Captain America, personally speaking, I don't even like the first Captain America that much. Captain America is like the exact opposite of Thor to me, because I like Thor as a character, but hate his bum-ass movies. Well, I don't really like Captain America, but he has the best solo movies of any hero, and the most interesting. It's crazy how that works out. And while I may not like the character, I will admit he's a pretty good actor. But now that he's retired, it's up. Stop making movies with his bum-ass sidekick. Or hey, maybe I'm wrong, the movie's gonna be cool. Either way, I still think they shouldn't be continuing the series for too long, and that applies to TV as well. Like, Iron Man was the main character of the MCU, and he only had 3 movies, because he just kept being relevant elsewhere. I think they should learn from what made him so hard, aside from having his own movies, and do that with the other characters. 3 movies is a good place to stop for everyone. Like, when you make movie 4, you're kind of pushing it. Unless you're Spider-Man or something, in which case go ahead, and make as many as you want, because you have the clout to carry the whole franchise. Also, if they decide to make X-Men movies, just straight up called X-Men whatever, then they can go on for a long time too, because it's not like they're gonna run out of stories anytime soon. And the cool thing about it is, the X-Men isn't like a set-in-stone group, so members can come in and out and it's whatever. But speaking of groups, I think it's time to just retire the Avengers name. Like I said before, they could just title movies without any character in them, but the reason I'm specifically tired of them saying Avengers blank is because the Avengers are gone, Thor and Hulk are washed, and the other 2 are packed up. Like, it's time to move on. As far as I'm concerned, the Avengers are those 4 who made a pact on that fateful day in 2012. Everyone else is a poser. And that's not even to say the Avengers are the end-all be-all that Marvel's trying to make them out to be. Like, just make another superhero team or something. Like, you know, I've been disrespecting the Thunderbolts, but who knows, maybe it'll actually be cool, just like how nobody cared about the Guardians, and they became some of the best and most well-known Marvel characters. Or maybe not, and they completely fumble, and they have to switch directions yet again. Actually, maybe planning out exactly how you want your franchise to go, like a million years in advance, isn't even the move in the first place. Like, when Avengers 1 came out, they didn't even know what they were going to do with Thanos later down the line, and it ended up working out pretty good for them, but now it seems they're trying to make Kang the antagonist with like 7 years of build-up, and I like Kang a lot. I think he has the potential to outdo Thanos if done well, and he definitely was the best part of Ant-Man 3, but the problem is they expended him a little early. They should have made that bum loser clowned out MODOK the main villain, while Kang was the villain in the shadows, kinda like how Thanos was in Guardians 1. But then again, I don't think one lame movie is enough to slow down all progress. The thing is, even if Marvel completely fails, and the payoff in the next Avengers doesn't work out, they still have so many characters to work with, it won't matter in the end. They could just reboot, and hire writers and directors that actually know what they're doing, and it'll all be fine. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and also how you feel about the lame direction all these superhero movies are going in now. But yeah, I want to see if adding actually relevant and popular Marvel characters revitalizes the franchise, but if not, then hey, I'm also fine with it all just coming to an end.